you. Thanks. I want to start by thanking Senator Baucus for the invitation to come here today. We were back several months ago in D.C., and he said, I do this conference in Butte. We talk about technology and job growth and economy, and certainly given all of my experience working with Senator Baucus on important issues, health care, tax policy, intellectual property protection, both here in the United States and abroad. I said this would be a great opportunity for me, and I didn't tell Senator Baucus this, but a great opportunity for me to make my first business trip here in Montana. I've been in Montana lots of times, but never on business. My father first brought me here, my mom and dad, 1963. My dad was an immigrant from Switzerland, and we were living in Detroit, and he wanted to see the big mountains of the United States. So he said, we're going to Glacier. We drove out here, tent camp, first trip to Montana. Even my Swiss father thought the mountains out here looked pretty good, I have to say. But I've come frequently on vacation, but the chance to come and talk a little business today was a wonderful opportunity for me, and I'm delighted to have a chance not only to make a few remarks, but to take some questions, comments, hear the kinds of things that are on your minds. These are certainly very interesting times for all of us. People are appropriately wondering where's job growth going to come from? How do we continue to develop? How do we put American people back to work? And I think it's important at the end of the day for everybody to stop and reflect on the importance of innovation, invention, and technology to the economy. Now, if you take a look at most forecasts, today there are about 10 million people in the United States employed in information technology. Something like 8% of everybody who works in the U.S. is involved somehow in the technology field. And the next 4 or 5 years, there should be another 1 million jobs created in information technology in the U.S. And if you compare that to what is expected in the economy as a whole, which will be relatively flat, I think it's really important, whether we're talking about information technologies that gets used in our own field or in healthcare or in energy, information technology is going to be a key point for innovation, invention, and job growth in the United States and here in Montana. Microsoft has over 150,000 business partners, companies that we work with in the information technology business around the United States, 150,000 in the United States. But we have 560 partners here in Montana alone. And so we have the infrastructure and the ecosystem to try to work with folks who are keen and interested in working in the information technology field, who want to start new companies, who want to build businesses. And we think it's really important, particularly since 36% of all the people who work in the IT field in the U.S. work in a Microsoft partner. We think it's really important that we're able to work very well with companies here in Montana. And while there are 560 of our partners here in the state, I'll just call out a couple to get you thinking. It's a small company called First Call Computer Solutions. Actually started in a one-room school and has now grown, employs a few dozen people. And probably one of the partners I think I would reference to you as a real showcase, not only for Montana, but a showcase Microsoft partner around the world, is a company called Right Now. We started in Bozeman, about 900 people, 500 working in Bozeman. They make call center and contact center solutions that they sell to companies like Expedia, Nikon, Black & Decker, to help people automate the applications for handling incoming customer calls. It happens to be built using some Microsoft technology and we work together really quite closely. So there's a lot going on here in the state, and whether it's in technology itself or it's in some of the other industries that will be dependent on information technology for their growth, I see a lot of opportunity as I've had a chance for this session to come up to speed. The thing that I think is perhaps most important for me to impart to all of you today is my excitement, and I think our industry's excitement, about how much invention and innovation and creativity it can be leveraged in our industry over the next 5 or 10 years. There are more things to be invented. There's more great work to be done. There are more new ideas that will be conceived going forward than even if you look back the last 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years. I know we went from no internet to internet, no cell phones to cell phones, no PCs to PCs, and yet if you look forward and we think about the way computers will start recognizing our speech, our voice, your computer will get to know you, the way a personal assistant will get to know you. When we think about the ability to model what's going on in the real world, in the virtual world, and how much that might speed the pace of scientific discovery, or the speed and accuracy with which we can do natural resource extraction. I just sit here sort of, I don't know, palpably enthusiastic about what's going to happen over the next several years. But rather than just talk to you about that, I thought we might show you just a short video clip designed to wet your whistle for some of the kinds of things that we see being invented over the course of the next few years. So why don't you join with me and take a look. A look. A good look. There were a lot of things kind of zooming and flipping and flying by. And the key wasn't literally that kind of every technology or everything that we're excited about be on your radar screen. But just let me talk a little bit and help you kind of wallow in some of what you saw. You saw very large, wall-sized digital interactive screens. The little girl and little boy communicating at school, talking to each other, one in English, the other communicating back in Thai. And you saw those kids communicating in a different way. The virtual reality meets the physical reality of the supermarket, and what's going on being instantly reprogrammed between the list that the lady brings into the market and what's going on in the market itself with specials, etc. New security technologies that really virtually know who you are and guarantee your privacy. The serviceman who can use virtual reality and use sort of enhanced digital reality in order to augment their knowledge as they're engaging in some kind of repair activity. And of course, many, many other scenarios, communicating and collaborating. I talked about the key being natural user interface. We think technology is still too hard to use today. Too hard to use. Your computer will get simpler. Your computer today isn't as smart about you as an assistant is. I was preparing for this trip, and I said to my assistant, hey, get me ready for my trip to Butte. And she knew to do the following. She knew to first look up everything about the conference and the attendees. She said, hey, do you know your buddy Jeff Immelt, who you worked with at Procter & Gamble's attending? She knew to bring that up and, kind of, that was going to be kind of fun. She knew I'm always interested. How many people live in Butte? What's the weather going to be like? When did I last see Senator Baucus? She pulls it all together. It's crazy. I ask the same questions every time. My computer will learn to prepare me for my trip to Butte. It has my calendar. It's got all the trip reports. It's got access to the whole internet. It can learn about me and know about me. And so this notion of understanding of people and how they work and what they want and understanding their voice and their intent, that will make computers simpler to use. It will make them more valuable to all of us, and it will enable all of us to either use computers differently to improve our business or to use computers to actually drive businesses that weren't possible before. We, Microsoft, are kind of right in the heart of the engine, if you will, the engine room, building new components. But the ways in which these things will be used to improve business productivity will continue to expand, from the smallest business to the biggest business, from the most service-oriented to the most manufacturing-oriented of businesses. If we can let people have better access to information, people will be able to be more productive, be more inventive, and be more innovative. I'll just give you one other simple example. In every business of any size, you'll get a frustration point where a manager will say, it's time to make a decision on, pricing. And what I really want to know is to collect all of the data on other price changes we've made and see how they work. And everybody knows that the information is locked up in the computers. And yet, it's hard for people to know how to pull that information out. And we're working to solve those problems so that every business can be more inventive, innovative, and consequently be able to grow and expand and employ more people. So I'm very enthusiastic about what the future holds for our industry and what our industry will mean for growth in other industries. Must have found the wrong button to push. This is a hardware thing. There we go. Every software guy will use that joke when he gets in a